This is Karen Murphy here. So you'll quickly realise that Kari is an American. She is not from Australia, but she married an Aussie man and so now lives on the Sunshine Coast with her beautiful family. She has 4 children. Holy moly. I can tell you're a little nervous. What I know with Kari is that she has the biggest heart. Okay, all right, so before I get into too much, can you just share a little bit about yourself, a bit of your background? What have you done? I know that you're a mum right now and that you're a part of this business, but what do you do? Please share.
I was a dancer. I grew up dancing. I started at age 4 and I developed a real passion for it. And it was probably when I was about 13 years old that I decided I wanted to pursue it professionally. And I got to perform with Disney for a few years, which was an amazing experience. I loved every moment of it. It was like being a kid every single day. And then a permanent injury took me out of that career really quick, just like this. And I wasn't really prepared for it. It was heartbreaking, but that's life, right? And it was good because I transitioned into being trained in Pilates, which is a good transition for a lot of dancers, you know, all about the body and technique and staying strong. I taught Pilates for a little bit when I first moved over here to Australia. And then I fell pregnant with our first child, and that's when I decided to stay at home.
Oh, I love your background, and I remember seeing a photo, I don't know where it's hidden now, but of you as Cinderella for Disney, and that just is like so awesome. It's like every girl's dream and you did it. I love that.
So
and then to get into Pilates, so you do know a bit about like how important health is and looking after your body. So then when and how did you hear about Nrf2 Activation?
Okay, so it's a bit of a story, and it's a really tender story that's dear to my heart and my family, and you know I can't share it without crying. But it was 6 years ago that my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And my family, like, she was on a protocol, a lot of supplements, but it's one of the most aggressive forms of cancer. And my mom's health just deteriorated very, very quickly. And we believe as a family that she only had a little bit of time left on earth at the point where one lady reached out from her heart to share with my dad or my mom about Nrf2 activation for her. So that's how we learned about it.
So when you heard about it, obviously your family was going through this, you know, traumatic, really hard time. You'd probably heard about all these different things that could possibly help your mum. So then you've heard again about this Nrf2 activation, never heard of it before. So what did you think when you first heard about it?
This is funny. I'm going to be brutally honest. I was totally skeptical. Don't be like me. Bad example. I was totally skeptical, but a lot of it was the mindset that I was in, because we, as you said, we had her on a protocol. She was on a lot of supplements and tablets already, and nothing seemingly was helping her or making a difference as she was deteriorating so quickly. So when my dad then showed us, or when he showed me, I just remember going, what's the point? Like, she's getting close to the end of her days, and I just remember thinking, how is this one going to be different than any of the others? And not to mention, I remember he showed me a list of testimonials. I saw this list, and I remember looking at it, not understanding the science by any means at this point, but I looked at this list and I thought, miracle pill, how can it help with this and this and this and this and this? It's too good to be true. So that was my very first opinion. I was a total skeptic.
Well, you're here today, so obviously something happened. So what made you and your family decide to get started with it?
Yeah, well, it was all my dad. So he was the one, when it was shared with him, he stayed up half the night and he did the research. And like I said, I didn't look into the science. I've never been a very science girl, although it intrigues and fascinates me now. But at that point, I didn't even care about the science, but my dad did. And he had done so much research already with everything else, and he had so much hope. He had so much hope. So of course, why wouldn't he start her on it? So he started her on it, and everybody's story is different, right? We all have different effects from oxidative stress, and we can't claim to treat, prevent, cure, mitigate disease. But with my mom, it was an incredible difference. She had been on it for approximately a week, and the easiest way to explain it is an overnight change of a breath of life into her. She had been sleeping most of the days and very much not there to where you could, really be present with her and talk and all of that. And she started waking up at 7:30 every single morning, and I mean, it was just incredible. Her results were what I call miraculous, and I'm so grateful for that. I remember seeing that, and I was just like, it is that tablet. We've changed nothing else. There's a huge difference in my mom. It enhanced her quality of life. She lived for another 4 months, and I just thought, as soon as I saw that, I thought, I cannot wait to get this tablet into my body to see what it's going to do for me. I was so excited to get it into my own body after seeing what it did for my mom.
That's powerful for your mum, but I also want to know a little bit about your own story. So you got started taking it. When did you notice your results? Like how long, and what were the things that you started to notice?
Yeah. So the first thing that I noticed, and it was within a week of me taking it, at the time I had a just turned 5-year-old who was also autistic. So lots of, extra work and stress that would go in, with her. I had a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old newborn, basically. And so I was tired, and I was also everything that was going on with mom, it was mentally draining, physically draining. But after having kids, I was tired anyways. I remember hitting the afternoon slump where I just wanted to have a nap. A lot of times if the kids were sleeping, I was sleeping too. That is the first thing that I noticed within a week, is that suddenly I didn't have an afternoon slump, and I stopped taking my naps. And it also went hand in hand with my workouts, because I had gotten back into working out after having our third baby, and I just felt like an Energizer bunny. I just remember having so much energy to work out with, and I wasn't used to it. And so those are the very first things that I noticed.
What else have you noticed from reducing that oxidative stress?
Okay, so something else I had, and this took time, but I had suffered from allergies when I moved over here to Australia. Summer months were just, they killed me. They absolutely killed me. But I had been decreasing my oxidative stress for about, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 months at this point. And I remember opening at Christmas time all the stuff which, naturally has the dust on it from being packed away. And I could smell the dust, and I was just waiting for the sneezing storm to happen. And it never happened. And it's been that way since. And I still will get, itchy eyes a little bit or a runny nose when I'm really, really run down. But that is about it. It's just helped me tremendously there. Being a dancer, I had so many aches and pains. I had a cyst in my back, a Tarlov cyst that was compressed nerves, and it was causing sciatica. It was causing tingling and numbness since I was about 17 years old. Also a lot of back pain and hip pain. And my shoulder, I had dislocated my right shoulder multiple times. I also had an AC separation in my collarbone, so my collarbone separated, and I had a lot of pain there, and I couldn't sleep on my right shoulder. I couldn't carry bags on my right shoulder. And so these things like sciatica it's gone. Those aches and pains that I had from all my dancing days are gone. My shoulder, I realized months into it, I remember waking up one morning and I woke up on my right side, and I was like, there's no pain. I couldn't believe it. And it's been like that since. Usually I would have intense pain if I ever found myself on my right side. What else? I developed psoriasis probably after I first was born. All over, it was just on my hands all the time, and I'd get it sometimes on my elbows and my knees as well. and all gone. I just haven't had it at all for the last 6 years. And I know. And I'm trying to think of little things too. This is just a funny little thing, but I used to get these bruises all over my, and I remember my mom used to have them too. I just thought it was a hereditary thing. But I mean, people would be like, "What did you do to your leg?" And I had no idea, because just the slightest bump or whatever would cause this nasty looking bruise. And it wasn't until maybe a year and a half, 2 years of being on it that I realized I read the stress linked to bruising, and I went, goodness, I don't get these bruises anymore. So it's just a little thing, but all of this adds up to, you know, it's that quality of life that we talk about all the time, like how much it has just changed the quality of my life.
So you mentioned allergies, sciatica, and like all back pain from years of dancing is improved. Bruising, that is just amazing. So how long have you been taking Nrf2 Activation?
It has been, I mean, I pretty much started right after we saw the results of my mom, which was, it's getting close to 6 years, if not just about 6 years, somewhere around that mark.
So one of your daughters, you mentioned she has autism, but she has a pretty incredible result story. Is that something that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just amazing what can happen in the body with Nrf2 activation, and her story it's so touching, and it is, you know, same thing, changed the quality of our entire family's life. So Gracie was diagnosed with high functioning autism at 22 months, and life was so challenging. Her anxiety was so high, it just hindered her entire life, really. She melted down all the time. She would have meltdowns every single day, sometimes, you know, 6, 7, 8 times a day. Even that would last a half an hour to 2 hours. 2 hours was usually a maximum for them. And we had to stay with her. We had to stay with her and help her learn how to emotionally regulate herself through these meltdowns. So that was the most challenging part for us, with her consistent meltdowns. I couldn't even go to a shop. I couldn't go out and buy a loaf of bread at the shop because of her unpredictable nature and what it could potentially do for her. It was way too stressful. So I was housebound all the time. I had years of going out and living life. Sensory stuff galore. I mean, just simple brush your teeth or put shoes on or, you know, eat. All those things were the biggest hurdles. You know, we couldn't go out to eat. Holidays were, you just didn't even want to try those things because it would unsettle her so much. So when we were in Nrf2 Activation, my husband started it after working with my, but I didn't realize the impact that decreasing stress and increasing glutathione and also decreasing inflammation could have in Grace, in a child on the spectrum, until my dad told me, and he was encouraging me, come on, put her on it. And I had so much fear because I knew how hard it was to get her to even eat food, you know. And so I thought, how am I ever going to do that? I decided it was worth it, and we bit the bullet. And yeah, that's a whole other story of how we got it into her, but we did. And I remember, like with myself, I could feel it away, and I remember Gracie. I didn't notice much, and this is something I want to point out. Sometimes we do not notice the changes that are happening because they are gradual, and life just starts to get better, and we're taking credit because it's so gradual and slow. But 4 months down, about 4 months into her being Nrf2 activated, she got sick and she had to be off of about 2 weeks, and then by that time it's completely stuff. But that is when I realized how much it was for her, because it took her right back to where she was before, and I thought, oh my goodness, it's doing so much for her. And I could explain that it decreased her anxiety so much that she was able to blossom in every aspect of her life. Started coping better. started being able to enjoy life more. It's always social, but it turned different. It turned to be a more reciprocal social interaction, where she was getting more. I mean, in school, she was the decreasing anxiety made her blossom in respect of school. To date, she's 10 years old now, and you would never know her. You would never know. And even us, I used to say, oh, but we still got our challenges. And even though it's helped, she has benefited much from it. Still new little things this year. Just complete. I mean, she's just functioning and managing and coping and just being her. She really is on the inside without all these other layers that were stopping that from happening. So it's been tremendous to watch it. Just remarkable. That directly has impacted our entire family and her sister, us as parents, and our quality of life. So yeah, just amazing.
So amazing and so powerful. And I've met Gracie a few times, and if I didn't know, I wouldn't know that she was on the spectrum. I haven't seen her for long periods of time, but she is always, I've never really seen her in like a situation of anxiety or melting down. She seems like she's able to really cope and it's loving life, which is just beautiful. If you need more information on Nrf2 Activation and the #1 product that we recommend, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I want to say thank you so much, Kari, for the time sharing such heartfelt stories. I know that they are never easy. It brings up a lot of emotions and tears every time. Thank you. I just want to ask, what one thing would you say if someone is considering about getting started on Nrf2 Activation? What would you say that they should, or just drop your last little comment for us?
Let me just put it this way. You know how when I first learned about it, I was skeptical? If I didn't have my dad there, and him being the one, and my family that chose to do this for my mom, and if I didn't see that, I do not know where our life would be. I really don't. I can't even begin to say how grateful I am for my dad's decision, which has resulted in the biggest ripple effect for not only our life, but so many other lives as well. So for anybody out there that's, on the fence, learn from me. Don't be skeptical like me. Go for it. Follow your gut. Follow your heart. Let your mind stop talking. And just do it, because you do not know what this can do in your body and how it can impact your life today or 90 years from now. So yeah, just do it.
Woohoo! Just do it. All right. Thank you so much, Kari. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening in. I hope you have enjoyed that as much as I have. Take care. Thanks, Kari. Have a great week, everyone.